Again, the Prime Minister is misleading the House. Only bold enough to say it to your face.
You don't know what I'm going to say. You don't know what I'm going to say.
The Prime Minister is attributing a point of view or a remark to me, which is false.
I rise to use my entire 30 minutes on this motion. No, you can speak for the 45 minutes or 30 minutes now, but you know you don't have the chance to speak when you come back to close. You do it right now. You have the time then. I want to know how you going to stop me from speaking when I'm the one tabling the PAAC report. If you attempt to do it... No, you can't stop that. No, I'll ask you to name you. So don't go there.
Pick up the whole hot water. Hey, it even dash water. You might talk about even pot water. Hot water. Pick up that data. Pick up yourself father. And I don't love and love alone.
So hot water, massive and crew. Yeah. So the Prime Minister is stating that the aid that the government gives out to the People's National Party member are being given to only PNP supporters and all of that, my people. Yes, and he and Mr. Golden got into some hot water because he's kind of contradicting himself about a statement that is made by Mr. Golden. The Prime Minister seems happy about getting loan, but Mr. Golden is saying that because this is climate induced and they are the one that cause it on us, you know, international bigger countries, you know, they should give us more. And $12 million is just nothing. So we are borrowing from them because of something that they cause us. They put us into this whole damage, and then we have to be borrowing from them. My people, stay tuned and just listen because this is very interesting. Was Malorian hot water
effort into a more mainstream response stood up by the ministries, departments, and agencies. Inasmuch as members of Parliament have been clamoring to want to deliver package, to want to deliver roofing material, there will come a time, and it has already come, where the members of Parliament will be saying, take this away from me, I can't manage it anymore. But you know, this is, Madam Speaker, the challenge. Because in one voice you say you want it, and then in another voice you say you don't want it, you just want it done. And Madam Speaker, we as the government who have the responsibility, we already knew that this moment would come. And therefore, Madam Speaker, that is why we have always emphasized that we must stand up the government, make the government strong, including the members of the opposition, so that we can give the long-enduring service to those Jamaicans who are suffering. That is what we have done. So, Madam Speaker, the idea that somehow the relief effort has been partisan, unfairly distributed, the main proponent being my sister and neighbor from St. Andrews South West.
Again, the Prime Minister is misleading the House by saying, and besmirching, yes, my character, by saying that I am the main proponent. Obviously, he's not on social media. He's not reading what others are saying and writing. I am only bold enough to say it to your face.
Madam Speaker, I am happy that the member who says that she is not the main proponent, who asked the same question last week and asked it this week and is bold enough to state, I am happy that she has raised the issue because, Madam Speaker, as I travel through the country, supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party have come to me complaining that the PNP MPs who have gotten substantial relief aid have not been distributing it to them. And I want to put it on record, Madam Speaker, that when they have come to me, I have said to them, in the interest of unity and peace in this country, that we wouldn't raise it or complain about it. But there is obviously, Madam Speaker, an effort to destroy the goodwill and to falsely accuse the government in a very malicious way. And we have, Madam Speaker, made every attempt to be fair in how we have distributed the public's resources, not our resources, the public resources. And to answer the member, I have given a directive to the Minister of Labour to the Minister of Local Government and to ADPEM that they must release all public aid that has been given to every member of Parliament in this country. So that the unfair and malicious attempt to cast the government in an unfair light can be dispelled by facts. So, Madam Speaker, that will be made available as soon as the next sitting. And we have also said, I must say, Madam Speaker, I received yesterday a very good report from ADPEM that they now have in place a proper system to manage inventory. So very soon, we should be able to have a public access website where we can see everything that comes in and everything that is given. We will put an end to this deliberate, malicious attempt to destroy the reputation of the government. Madam Speaker, and we will see when it happens who has gotten more. Madam Speaker, no, I'm on my feet. So we will disclose everything that has been given to constituencies. Let me put it that way. Well, it can't go to the constituency unless it goes through the FP. So, Madam Speaker, I know what has fallen over there and why everybody is all of a sudden getting hot under the collar. I know. Madam Speaker, let me continue. Grants which ministers who are in the various areas where those grants are given will speak. But 12 billion for this case is for technical advice. 12 billion. And you are correct in the sense that sometimes these grants come with conditionalities as to who would be the consultant, and some countries have, precisely, some countries do have a requirement that by their law that some of their aid has to come through their local companies. I am not here saying that this is definitively the case for this. We have not discussed that. Which brings me to the question asked by the member from Southeast St. Andrews, to whether or not you wanted to have more details as to how the loans will be accessed, when they will be accessed, the conditionalities and interest rates and so forth. So today was, so just to back up so that the country understands clearly. 2 weeks ago, I had a discussion with all the international financial institutions at the G20. That discussion centered around how we can assist Jamaica's recovery. I asked for a particular kind of support. It was considered by the IFIs, and they came together and they made their release on Monday. This morning, I had a call with all the IFIs, including the head of the IMF, the head of the World Bank, the head of the IDB, the head of CAF, and the CDB, Caribbean Development Bank. And we worked out in broad outlines how the program will work. So I don't have for you as yet the details. The Minister of Finance will now go into the direct discussions to work out the details. We can say that the private sector loans, again to the point raised by the leader of the opposition, will form part of our public-private strategy. His concern is that, yes, you may say that $2.1 billion is available in private sector loan, but are there the matching investments ready to take it up? And on investors. And my answer to that is yes. Because the government of Jamaica was already in the process, because of our public investment appraisal process, where we have to develop projects way in advance. In addition to investors who have been coming to the government to say, we want to do this and we will fund it, and we have to be saying, yes, we understand. If you want to partner with us, you have to understand that we have to keep within our fiscal limits. And therefore, there are projects that are lined up waiting for fiscal space to be executed. So, which is why I've been saying that yes, it's a disaster, but that it has also created an opportunity for us to fund projects that have been on the track waiting to get fiscal space to be operated. So this is what I mean when I say we have opportunities. So this is also a signal, Madam Speaker, to the private sector that if there are projects that have a national impact that can be done using Jamaica's well-established public-private partnership structure, now is the time to get in line for those projects. The leader of the opposition is saying in a sort of a way that we don't have the money. The point is that once the international community stands up and commits to it, it would be very rare or something dramatic, negatively would have happened for us not to have access to the funding. I'm saying the private sector money. They have committed an envelope. And once they have committed that, it is then up to us to meet the envelope. Speaker, I am a strong advocate for climate justice. But the difference between myself and the leader of the opposition is you don't know what I'm going to say. You don't know what I'm going to say. The difference between myself and the leader of the opposition is that I am not expecting the international community to give Jamaica anything.
The Prime Minister is attributing a point of view or a remark to me, which is false. I've never said that the international community can be expected to give us anything. I know the world we're living in. I was pointing out the injustice of it, and the fact that it's because of the injustice of it that we're going to have to be taking on this massive amount of additional debt to try and dig ourselves out of this hole. That's the point I was making.
Madam Speaker, I accept the point of clarification, but there was no point about it. But the clarification attempted by the leader of the opposition. Madam Speaker, my recollection of the leader of the opposition statement is that they are only giving us $12 million in grants. With all that we need, all that they're going to give us, let me say this, Madam Speaker. Yes, there is an injustice in the climate change issues that small island developing states in particular are faced with increasing in terms of frequency, in terms of intensity, and in terms of the overlapping of disasters that have an impact on our balance sheet as a country. And the argument is that rich countries that have benefited from using carbon-based fuels, should compensate. But, being your Prime Minister, the position I take is that until then, Jamaica must be able to stand on its own 2 feet, develop itself, and how do we as a small nation, Madam Speaker, stand on our own 2 feet? The leader of the opposition's argument is that we are going to have to borrow to do this recovery. No, I want to know, hold on, that's what he said. No. The leader of the opposition made the point that we are going to have to borrow to do the recovery. And you have made the exact point. Yes. So what else would we have to do? What else would we have to do? Which shows you the inconsistency of his arguments. But here's the problem now, Madam Speaker. How do we borrow? If it were 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we would not be able to approach the IFI. We wouldn't even be able to approach the international community. But Madam Speaker, even if we were able to approach the international community, it would not be on concessionary terms. It would not be in a structured way as this.
So first, my people, the Prime Minister is acting like there is a problem, or Mr. Golding said something wrong by saying that we are going to borrow. That's literally what we are going to do. And that's literally what you are doing. You are borrowing, but still not have yet heard of the terms and agreements and the interest rate of the loan. So why is he acting as if there's something wrong with what Mr. Golding says? Yes, you are saying he's trying to pretty up the thing, saying, hey, we are going to borrow in a special, you know. Yeah, we are going to borrow, yes, but it was like a couple years ago. This borrow now, where we are going to borrow now, has more structures and more benefits, and it's a better borrow. Borrow. So he's carrying us all around the circus, like as if we are clowns, wanting us to look at Mr. Golding away for saying that we have to borrow. But yes, we have to borrow. But you're acting as if something was wrong, or as if we're not going to borrow. But you're saying, so because we're going to borrow in a very special way now, that means it is not still borrow? Come on, man, come on. We're still borrowing, my people. And I definitely support Mr. Golding in what he's saying. Because why? Many people that might never know or was underestimating the power of science and technology, stating that this storm was not man-made. Here, you know, it begins at the House of Parliament. It is climate-induced, my people. They mess with the weather. Bigger countries mess with the weather. Yes, they have all this scientific lab where they can do all type of experiment, but they took the experiment out of the lab and brought it in the Caribbean. So here the Prime Minister talk about the frequency and the reoccurring of these climate-induced storms. Yes, open up ears now and listen. So you hear him speak about it. So how did I say it was man-made? It was man-made. And if you notice, every year you have a different storm come out. Why? You hear him talk about the reoccurring. That means you see the every year storm on us. Last year Beryl, this year Melissa, and not to mention down the line. You get me? And to come. So people, wise up, man. So, just as I say, people, for me, what I will definitely say is that what the Prime Minister is saying that we should happy about, that the fact that we got hit give us the opportunity to rebuild or do some things that was already in the pipeline. That sounds foolish. So you're glad that a hurricane came and mash us up so that we can go borrow or we can go beg. Like that's how I put it in my own terms. So it is clear and it is evident that this borrow is all about, or this big, or this smart city thing. That's what the Prime Minister is glad about, you know. I tell you people, you know, he got what he wants. No matter what people were saying, that is what he wants. So he's glad. And the G20, no, it is clear. So many people was right. Even Fifth Element was right. So he went to the G20 meeting to ask for a type of help. He said a special type of assistance, you know, a special type. I want to know what's so special about that. You get me, as a people? So, yeah, and international monetary funds. We're going back this again. People, is Jamaica broke? I just feel like Jamaica is broke and they're hiding it. So, it says international public and private partnership, which is, we know it is IMF and people from the G20. So, he just glad that I don't trust the Prime Minister, you know. That's all I have to say. I don't see why this man happy that we got knocked down for us to go bigger. So that means you're glad so people sorry for you. Oh, so you want people to sorry for us then. So if you are going to beg and we are going to look sorry for, after all, you don't want people videoing to be showing people, giving people to keep pocket because you don't want your country look like a poor thing. Well, no, you look like a poor thing because they are running the international aid and begging a special type of help. And as soon as, well, he says that the finance minister is going to speak with the officials of the G20 and IMF, and they're going to tell them about what these policies are and terms and conditions. I wonder what are the conditions, what Jamaica going to have to give up, what foreign investors will come here to take. You see that isle out of sea there? where them a keep on a level, I feel like that's what them have them hype on, and Prime Minister go and give it up. I'm just saying, I'm not sure. You get me I say? So I definitely feel so. But we want to hear, Mr. Prime Minister, get that as fast as possible. What are the what terms and conditions will apply to these loans, and what is the interest rate? Because Jamaica now have got to put them shoulder to the wheel and go upon the slave million now to go pay back loan. You get me I say? So we totally not like what go on here, so but so what Mr. Golden is saying, so 12 million alone we're going to get for this climate-induced storm that they created. So why the Prime Minister behave as if say something done wrong? Something is wrong. It's like he wants to give thanks for this $12 million that we get in grants. This shouldn't even be no loan or that we just given to us. You run an experiment on us, you know, a scientific experiment, and it mash we up. And then we have to turn and borrow from you. How is that? So you cause me damage in order for me borrow from you so me can pay you back. So this is like my people. The bank put you in a debt so you can borrow from it. Yeah, just like how the bank love call you and say, hey, we got $100,000 credit card for you and the interest rate is whatever. In this case it is different though because it's a stamp them send. The bank like can't really, I don't know say, but can't create a financial problem in order for you to borrow. You understand? But what we are saying is, Mr. Golden is right in so much way, my people. Because why? What Mr. Golden is saying is correct. So we are going to borrow. He's saying that until then, Jamaica will stand on its own 2 feet. But we already stand on our feet. And we already get money, we already get donated money to help us to recover. So what so more that does we want to borrow? If we get recovery money, why did the Prime Minister go to the G20 meeting to borrow? Or ask for a special type of aid. We do not know how much special that aid is. And we do not know what we're going to have to give up. We don't know if them have to dig off we mountain them. So that when storm come again, no mountain, no they brace the wind, everything get liquid. That's what the Mr. Golden is stating that it is not right for us to be borrowing loan due to climate change, climate induced change, injustice. You get me? I said, so what he's saying is that it is not good. It is not sensible for us to go borrowing loan from these set of people who have done scientific experiment on us. Climate change induce and cause storm and all of this, and then we have to go to them borrowing money. But the Prime Minister is stating something. Let us listen to people and hear what he's saying, because I totally think Mr. G is saying the right thing.
The climate change issues that small island developing states in particular are faced with increasing in terms of frequency, in terms of intensity, and in terms of the overlapping of disasters that have an impact on our planet.
Oh, so sorry people, but for all who say this storm was not man-made, in the House of Parliament, here it taught them now that it is climate induced. Here Mr. Prime Minister talk about the reoccurring and the frequency and the speed of the storm, how it's affecting small developing Caribbean islands. Oh no, listen.
And the argument is that rich countries that have benefited from using carbon-based fuels should compensate. But your Prime Minister, the position I take is that until then, Jamaica must be able to stand on its own 2 feet, develop itself, and how do we as a small nation, Madam Speaker, stand on our own 2 feet? The leader of the opposition's argument is that we are going to have to borrow to do this recovery. Now, I want to know, hold on, what he said. No. the leader of the opposition made the point that we're going to have to borrow to do the recovery. And you have made the exact point. Yes. So what else would we have to do? What else would we have to do? Which shows you the inconsistency of his arguments. But here is the problem now, Madam Speaker. How do we...
Hot water channel, straight to the max. Bring the thing to the people then. Original generous speed. Same way. Man, big up hot water channel. No ice cream. Yeah man, big up yourself.